Hello, and welcome back to the Impossible Entrepreneur podcast. I'm architect Anna, and I'm an entrepreneur on a mission to do the impossible. And today's episode is about skill stacking. And honestly, I think this is such a fun area. And I try to collect skills like Pokemon cards, and maybe you do the same. But if not, I'm going to give you guys some tips about what you can do for your skills and how to collect them. If you guys are already lifelong learners, you probably have lots of different ways that you go about this. But depending on what your goals are, there might be some gaps in the skills that you have currently and the ones that you are trying to achieve. I'm also going to be talking about the 5 core areas of AI that are useful for business leaders so that you can know where you might be with your AI advantage gap. So there might be one or two that's missing right now, or you might be missing all 5 and you're like, I need to get started by the end of this year. Totally fine. At least you'll have a little bit of a roadmap. So let's kick off with the 5 core areas of AI leadership. So that you guys, for those of you who are executives, who are business owners, or who are trying to become leaders within your space or your industry, can have a little bit of a roadmap to get started. So I recently did a master class on this very topic called the AI Advantage Gap, a roadmap for business leaders. And it is looking at these 5 areas. And the feedback I got from that was that they're missing the first part. And without that first part, it's hard to then carry on with the others. So I'll list the 5 different areas first, and then we will go into them one by one. So the 5 different areas that I would consider like core, because there's so many different things that you can learn with AI. But if you are a leader, you are an executive, you are starting your own business, this would be relevant. I mean, if it's just you, a solo entrepreneur, there might be one category that's like not quite as relevant, but I'll get into it. So the first section is AI fluency. So that's going to be like AI literacy and a lot of different other areas. The second section is AI strategy. So being able to use AI strategically. The next area is AI operations, using AI within your business operations. Then AI governance, an area that's missing in a lot of businesses that I've spoken to, missing their policies. And then the last one is AI culture and leadership. So again, if you are a solo entrepreneur, you might not have a business culture because it's just you, but I could be wrong. You could have like a business culture all by yourself. So first up is AI fluency. So the people that I spoke to in the masterclass, they were like, because I don't feel like I have AI fluency, I don't even really understand the different areas, the terminology, how these things work, the different tools, the general like AI landscape. I don't feel like I can move on to the next steps. Fair enough. So with AI fluency, you would start with AI literacy. So those would be some core skills. I consider them like evergreen AI skills, like understanding the landscape is really helpful. Understanding the history of AI, I think, is really useful. Understanding where it's already integrated into a lot of different businesses, where businesses are getting success from it, where they are having a harder time. Knowing the tools that you have available and what they're great at and also what their limitations are, really useful. And without even going technical, you don't need to be technical to like know any of this stuff or learn any of this stuff. Moving on from there into prompt engineering, really helpful, how to be able to instruct these tools to get great results and then have critical thinking to then review the results rather than just take them hand in hand. Like there's kind of sometimes 2 different groups of people. There's people that don't trust AI at all because they're like, nope, I don't trust it. I want to work with it. And then there's a group of people that are far too trusting of AI. And I think you should be somewhere in the middle. Like if you don't trust it at all and therefore you're not using it, I feel like you're missing an opportunity because the way that I use it is I trust that it will make mistakes, but I also know what those mistakes are going to look like and how to be aware of them and also how to reduce the likelihood of them happening. So that will all come into your AI fluency. And once you nail that, then you can really move on to the next steps. And I mean, at the end of the day, once you realize that you can ask these tools anything, you can use them to help you get whatever you want in life. And I mean that from like a strategic perspective, you will be so far ahead. So that's going to be part of your AI fluency. Moving on from there to AI strategy. So, I mean, the thing that's really cool that you learn in AI fluency when you get into a little bit of prompt engineering, and one of the prompting frameworks that I created is called COCO, which stands for character, objective, context, and output. And if we're just talking about the first bit, which is character, when you realize you can assign an AI any type of expertise, of course, always have critical thinking, review the results. And if you don't have the expertise to be able to review the results properly, get someone who does. But you can like ask them to look from data from any type of expert around the world, which is fantastic. So if you were doing strategy, you can pressure test ideas from all different types of expertise, which is amazing, which is really, really cool. So you can strategize not only what you want in your personal life, but also micro problem solving, right? Like if this is your big goal, and it's a lot to get from here to there, you might then create strategic milestones and steps about how to get there, working backwards. That's the way I like to do it. And then along each of those steps, which you've broken down so it's less overwhelming and scary, then you can start to solve these micro problems, like every little thing. How do I get this set up? How do I do this? Oh, I don't have this skill, right? Skill stacking. Need to get these skills. So along this ladder or staircase towards your goal, you will realize what skills are missing, so on and so forth. And you can also use AI strategically. So for business owners, if we're thinking about like the skills of AI, like, yeah, we've got AI fluency, we've got AI strategy, being able to build out roadmaps, pressure test ideas, many, many other areas. Then we move on to AI operations. So within your actual business and within the actual work that you do, where could you use AI or automation or AI automation or agents or any of these things? And then knowing when to use which one, again, that's going to come in with the fluency, when not to use which one, where the security risks are, and how they fit with your business and your goals. Like if you're trying to scale or streamline things, where might things fit in with your operations? And also, if you do have teams, how will that work from a people perspective, people tech? Like you can't forget the people when it comes to rolling out tech within a business. Unless you have a business of just AI agents, then you might still have a person with like reviewing the results as human in the loop. So that's AI operations, solid. And then you've got AI governance. So understanding your business enough, your industry enough to know what you maybe should or should not be doing with these tools, and then creating your policies and guidelines for your business. So that's super important. And then also not leaving them as a static document, but updating them once a quarter because things are moving so quickly. And then also making sure like people within your business know about them and know how to access them and follow them. Very key. Leading on to the last one, which is AI culture and leadership. So this can be multiple things. There's like culture within a business. I've worked with lots of businesses where they bought them like licenses to all of these different tools, but then no one used them because they weren't involved in the discussions. They didn't hear their concerns. They didn't present them with use cases or training. And then they're just kind of left with like this big gap. So I think involving your team, your departments in these conversations and really, really listening to them about what they are concerned about, what their fears are, what they just don't like in certain areas would be really helpful from a cultural perspective of a business to make sure that when you are trying to move things along and trying to stay competitive in your industry, you have your team support rather than potentially having them like sabotage from within, which wouldn't be very good. The next part of that is going to be leadership. And I think about this from two ways. So if you are a solo entrepreneur, this is also self-leadership, which is massive. Like, do you actually lead yourself in your day? Can you wake up at a certain time? Do you manage your time well? Do you manage your work well? Are you prioritizing things that matter for your business? Self-leadership is key. And even if you are a leader within a business, self-leadership is also super important because you are leading by example. So I think if you are trying to be an AI leader in your space, you do need to lead by example, which is having the knowledge of how these things work, but then also implementing them and understanding where they fit within your business and your industry. So very quick overview of, I guess, kind of like the 5 core areas of AI leadership. And you can think to yourself where you might be missing and where you want to start. Totally fair. But with each of these, there's going to be a lot of skills within them that you might want to master. So if you are trying to drive innovations within your business or within the work that you do, it might mean that you not just need AI skills, but you also might need some of the more soft skills, but really, really important communication skills, maybe public speaking. If you're building up your personal brand because you want to be known as an authority in your space, you might have to learn a lot of skills about how to do that and how it fits best with your life. I always tend to say, play to your strengths, whatever those strengths are. If you're really good at writing, write. If you're really good at speaking, speak. If you're really good on camera, be on camera. If you're really good at making connections with people and doing that sort of an offline way and you're great at networking, do that. Like you will start to stand out if you play to your strengths. I know lots of people in each of those different areas, and they've done very well by playing to their strengths and not trying to be something that they're not. That doesn't mean you can't move into one of the other areas if that's part of your goal set, but it's just something to bear in mind. So those are the different areas of AI skills in business and leadership, but also when you think about your own individual skills and your own individual goals. Because, I mean, part of the Impossible Entrepreneur podcast is no matter who you are, no matter where you work, no matter what you do, I want to try and help you get the most out of your life and help you get what you really want. And that might be that you are currently an executive in a business, but you know you want to start your own business. And it's going to be thinking about what skills do I need to do that? And it can be a bit of a thing. I mean, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about, starting a business from scratch because someone asked me, if you had to start all over, what would you do different? And I was like, do I have all my current knowledge? And they're like, no. I was like, okay, well, this is what I would do. But if you are trying to start a business from scratch, what kind of skills do you need? And I can tell you, like, I have worked in multiple different industries, but the stuff that I have learned from entrepreneurship over the last few years has accelerated everything across the board compared to the other work that I've done because it just tests you in so many ways that you can't imagine unless you've actually done it. So not to intimidate anyone, it's just like be excited about it. Like be excited about how much you're going to learn and kind of embrace that difficulty because once you get through it, and you have to go through it, not around it, you will get much closer to what you really want to achieve. If you think about what you really want and the type of person it would take to achieve that, where is the gap between where you are and where like you want to be, and who is that person? So with the industries that I've worked in, like I did architecture for over 11 years. I'm a qualified architect. I worked in the film industry for over 7 years now, randomly. Like I started just doing, a bit of commercials and like low key modeling, and then trying to get into the film industry, doing like extras work, and then doing like short films as an actress, and then getting a couple speaking lines in TV shows and movies, and then having most of them cut, and then having them one of them not be cut, so that I got to be a co-star in a Paramount Plus TV show, which was awesome. At least in the credits, I was like, I don't really feel like a co-star, but very cool. Um, Great. So architecture, acting, did a bit of stunt training because in my youth, I did a lot of martial arts and I got a second degree black belt. I don't normally consider that part of my work or business skills, but I think the mindset behind becoming a black belt definitely does go into my work. Like the amount of discipline and ability to manage stress, I think does translate. So it's like looking at the skills that you have and seeing how they translate to where you want to go, especially if you're currently in a job and you want to switch jobs or you want to do something else. What do you currently have that you can use to your advantage? Again, play to your strengths. And if you want more strengths, collect them like Pokemon cards. Okay. And then I moved from acting and stunt training and stuff in the film industry to marketing. I did 4 degrees. 3 of them were in architecture because you need 3 to become an architect. And then I did another one in business and marketing. So I always wanted to do that. It just wasn't part of my role as an architect. So then I strangely got a job as a chief marketing officer. I was good at networking, good at interviewing. Those were some of my skills. And then I got that job. I mean, it was a whole mess. If you listen to like the first season of the podcast, you'll know that that was an interesting job, but I learned so much from it. And again, I acquired a lot of skills really quickly. And a lot of skills you're going to get through experience, not just learning. Like you actually have to put it into practice and do. So put yourself into, I guess, what I would consider uncomfortable but safe conditions and learn as quickly as you can. So then I worked in marketing. And again, once you are C-suite level, there's a lot of different skills that you're going to learn independent of the job, which are kind of like, how to work with other people at that level and understand what their priorities and needs are so that you can communicate with them. One of the skill sets that I still feel like I'm developing and sort of missing are sales and negotiation skills, including like NLP or neuro linguistic programming. Something I've been trying to learn, on and off a little bit here and there for the last like almost 2 years, year and a half. And it's something that I'm going to be developing more over the next few months, the more calls that I start to have with potential clients, which will be cool. But again, it's like something that I realized was missing and knew that I needed to develop. So I invested in myself and my learning to actually go ahead and learn those skills. And yeah, from becoming a CMO, I then moved into AI, and there was tons and tons and tons of skills that I needed to learn alongside entrepreneurship. I mean, there's like legal side, there's financial side, there's strategic planning, marketing, personal branding. There's obviously all the AI side, there's communication skills, there's a lot. And I developed a lot more public speaking skills as well. So really interesting. But also if you look at yourself and your own work, what do you have now? what are the skills that you currently have in your possession? What are the skills that you're missing? And what are maybe the steps that you can do to bridge those gaps? And again, all of these discussions you can have with a chatbot. Be like, I'm here. I want to get here. How do I do that? What should I start first? And of course, always have critical thinking depending on what it's saying. But then you can plan these out. I did an episode on, building out your own custom curriculum, which is again, basically, what's your goal? Where are you? And then building out the steps in between that so that you can learn them and develop. And all of the planning that you would do, it still requires action. I think it's important to have a solid plan, but not spend too much time there, because without the action, you're really not going to learn or acquire the skills that you want. So whatever it is that you want to do, take action. You will learn a lot more through the process of iterating and testing, and you will improve from there. Let's see if I missed anything. Oh yeah. So hey, lifelong learners, what's your skill stack? Let me know. And what do you feel still missing? Let me know. Share it with me. And also start to make a plan. How can you close that? If you can think, it really depends on your learning style. You could plan out one major skill per year, because then, you'll have 5-10 major skills within like the next decade, which would be awesome. Some of them, they do take much more than a year to learn. Otherwise, if you're someone who just likes to go with the flow, then just let your curiosity drive you and go down lots and lots of rabbit holes. And then don't forget to step back, look around, make sure it matches your goals, and then connect the dots between them. And maybe just plan like, okay, I've learned all of this now. It was awesome, very interesting, but it's not quite connected to my goal. How do I connect it? Again, strategize the gaps with a chatbot if you need to, and then close those gaps, learn, iterate, improve, and you will get better and better over time. Like, the point is not to be perfect. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. Everyone is a work in progress. Everyone is trying their best. I know you're trying your best. So just continue to try your best, and document the progress as you go, and celebrate yourself when you do learn things. So yeah, let me know, lifelong learners out there, what you're up to, what your skills are, where your gaps are. And next up in the next episode, like I said, we're going to be talking about starting a business from scratch. If I had to start all over, what would my advice be? What would be my top tips, I guess, that I've thought of so far? I'll probably forget and I'll remember tons of things later. So what are my top tips, and how might they be useful for you if you are starting a business and you're wondering if you're on the right track? You probably are, because if you've gotten started, you're on the right track. But that's what we'll talk about in the next episode. So good luck stacking up all your skills. You probably already have way more than you think. See how they're transferable towards your goals, and then plan out your next steps. All right, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.